So we have been working on a series of building our spiritual core. And what is our spiritual core? Our spiritual core is those core beliefs that we have in which determines how we move through life. It's our perception of what we believe and how do we responding and acting in life from that center. So we had a series, and Katie kicked us off with relating our spiritual core to our physical core. So we know when our physical core is not strong, we enact other muscles that tend to get overused and then they get injured, and then we can't respond to what life throws at us gracefully or easily, right? So, just like if our spiritual core is not strong, we don't respond from that spiritual space of love and acceptance. We respond with our emotions. And that kind of muddies things up, doesn't it? So we were supposed to practice believing that love is the greatest power in the universe as a core belief, and send love to all situations, so that we could practice building that spiritual core on the belief that love is the most powerful energy in the universe. So how was everybody doing with that? Good. Okay, good. Then Cindy talked to us about the power of gentle. She talked about it takes as much energy to go within as it does to do a physical activity. And when we bring that energy focused within, that energy then quickens our core and helps magnetize our core and draw love and what we believe to us. Do you guys remember? And in that space, we become empowered when we bring the energy into our core. And when we do that, we feel that safety of being in God's love. Remember, when we go within, it starts to strengthen and vibrate out. Then Patrick talked to us about our uniqueness, and to start to honor our uniqueness, because our uniqueness comes from our core. And in order to strengthen and follow our uniqueness, we have to pull our energy out of things that aren't serving us. So we needed to start honoring what was ours to do and not what the world expected of us or what our friends or family wanted us to do. That it was okay to say no and say yes to what's mine to do. And so we were supposed to ask ourselves, well, what do I want? And what is mine to do? So was everybody working on that last week? I see your cores are vibrating. So today, we're going to talk about how strong is our core. So we're going to examine our core. I really love our affirmation. My beliefs in God create my spiritual biology. Well, what does that mean? What is spiritual biology? Biology is the study of science that has to do with how we function, our origin, our life processes, how we interact. It has to do with everything. So, our beliefs in God create how I respond to life in my world. Okay, so have you all been thinking about what you really believe about God? Okay. Well, in metaphysics, I teach the metaphysics classes, which is our first level of seminary. And the first thing we do is say, okay, you guys, what is God to you? And I let the students throw out whatever they say about God. And so what do you think they say? What is God?
Love.
God is love. intelligence, all goodness, power, light, spirit. What's that? Really big. Yes. and you guys are really good because you've been here for a while. But you know, when we first start doing this, you know what other words go up on the board?
Fear,
judgment, forgiving, vengeful, angry. Yes. Now, if we believe God is love, then how can God be judging or vengeful or angry? Aren't those beliefs contradictory? And so don't you think we still all have those contradictory beliefs within our consciousness? Because even though we are saying we believe God is love, truth, we say God is within, God is our parent, our creator. God is all-knowing, all-powerful, right? And everywhere present, our three omnis. So, if that's our basic belief about God, how much room is there for those contradictory beliefs? So what we're trying to do is really focus our attention in vibrating those beliefs that are going to be light-based and that will serve our highest good. Because when we go through the world, where do we get our beliefs? We get them from our parents, we get them from our churches, we get them from our friends, we start taking on all these beliefs because we think we believe that at that time. And maybe that serves us at that time. And maybe that makes sense to us. And then that's still vibrating in there. And then when we start learning and growing, we still have those beliefs vibrating even though we don't think we believe it. But it still creates a little bit of fear and doubt within us to believe that, well, if God is all-knowing, then God really does know all my needs and God does provide for me. So how strong do we believe that? Ooh, not so strongly, I see. But that's what we're trying to believe, right? Right. So we need to get rid of those beliefs that are creating fear and doubt. And so we start to redefine God. So we redefine God as our omniscience, omnipresent, omnipotent, love, joy, beauty, truth, light. And so if that starts resonating at our core, think how that's changing our perception of how we view life. If I believe God is everywhere present, then aren't I going to see God in everything? So when I'm walking through my world and something that looks like a challenge comes up, am I automatically going to go, let me see the God in that, or am I going to respond with my emotion? We do probably both half and half, right? We're a little wavering, okay? But we're working on building that. And so if we remember to keep going back to what is my core belief. Now these are the beliefs that InnerQuest believes. So you can still have your own beliefs, but I'm going to share with you what we believe. When we do our homework in metaphysics, my students have lots of time to practice believing these new beliefs. They have to practice not reacting and practice being love and practice seeing love and practice trusting in God and practice not controlling a situation and practice not judging. They really love it. They do. Because when they graduate, you know what everybody says? When they look at the students, they say they are glowing, and I want to sign up because I want to glow too. Isn't that the truth? How many metaphysics people in here has gone through class? How many people have gone up to you and said, you are glowing, sign me up? Because they got to put faith into those core beliefs. And so that core belief got to resonate and vibrate, and therefore made their light brighter and clearer. You know, when they were showing me this picture, you know when a baby comes to the earth, they are just glowing, aren't they? They're fresh from God. They look at everything with wonder and amazement. You hang anything in front of them, they go, everything is filled with wonder, okay? And beauty, and everything is joyful. And you put the baby in the car seat or the little carrier, and they just go with you. The baby goes with the parent. The baby trusts the parent. We don't explain our plan to the baby. We put them in the car seat, and we're going to the bank, and we go shopping, and we go there, and now we go home, and the baby just joyfully goes along. We make sure it's being fed, and it gets its little toys, and it's just being, because it's fresh from God. And it still remembers that, oh yeah, I am loved, and I'm going to be taken care of. My parent takes care of me. And this lasts for how many years? 2? And until we start to negotiate, and we go, okay, now honey, we're going to the bank, and then you can get your lollipop. No, we're going to do this first, and then when, like, we have to explain this plan, like we're reasoning with a 2-year-old. Because, and that's good, because they're exercising their will, and get to create, and mold, trying to create things of their own, and hopefully they get to learn and grow through that experience. Well, they'll get to use their will to choose to go back into God's will. But when they're just going along with the parent, they're glowing. They remember until they get older and get in school and start taking on other beliefs, or the beliefs that their parents have and the beliefs that are in school, and it starts kind of muddying up what they knew when they come in. In metaphysics class, when we start going over what God is, they all go, yeah, that's familiar. I think I knew that. I knew that deep down already. So we're just trying to get back to what we really believed when we came in, to bring that glow back, our powerful light. There was a light that emanated from Jesus, wasn't there? He always had the light around him. And when there's drawings of the disciples, there's always light around them. And Jesus had his core belief, God and I are one. God and I are one. And nothing shook that belief, God and I are one. He taught his disciples about the energy of God, to trust in God, the omniscience of God, the power of the Holy Spirit. He taught them what he knew about God. And so with that light, the deeper we believe about our core beliefs about love and light and God, the stronger our light's going to be. And it's nothing that we have to do. We don't have to force, I'm going to shine my light. They showed me a picture this morning of a fire. And our beliefs are like logs. So our beliefs are like logs that are going to build a fire. The light beliefs take the fire easily. The beliefs of doubt, limitation, fear create smoke. They're almost like wet logs. When you try and build a fire, don't you want all the same logs, you want them nice and dry, and so they just light up. But when you put that heavy, wet energy, and isn't doubt and fear really a wet energy? It's like a wet blanket. You're putting that on the fire and it's creating smoke, which interferes with how brightly your light shines. And faith is what ignites those logs. So we have these beliefs, But how much faith do we have to keep that fire going? That faith is that amplifier, that fuel that we believe without being proven. I believe that God is the supplier of all my needs. I'm going to believe that, and I'm going to wait to be shown. And we can look back and see how it's always worked out before. So, within us, we're still carrying some wet logs, I think. And so maybe we're not trusting that God knows all our needs and knows what's best, and we think we have to exercise our will and control things. You know, even the disciples who walked with Jesus, witnessed the miracles, you know, raised the dead, you know, when he was going to be crucified, they all ran in fear. The only one that stayed there was John. And then when Jesus resurrected his body and came back, he was able to be with them again and teach them and walk with them for another 40 days. And I think that really helped instill their faith greater, because then they went on to do the works. After Jesus ascended, he went on, all the disciples went on to heal the sick, raise the dead, to do the works that Jesus taught them to do. In Acts, Peter and John were going to the temple at the time of prayer, and there was a certain man who was lame from his mother's womb, and men carried him there every day so that he could ask for alms or money or whatever from the people. And when Peter and John were entering the temple, he begged of them to give him alms. So he wanted money from Peter and John. And Peter and John looked at him and they said, "Look at us." And he looked at them, expecting to receive something from them. And then Peter said to him, "Gold and silver have I none, but what I have I give to you. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk." And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and in that very hour his legs and his feet received strength. And then he was leaping and stood and walked and entered in the temple, and the people realized who that was. That was that lame man that was there every day begging. And of course they were amazed at what had happened. And they were in awe. And Peter says, why are you amazed? I've done nothing. It's not through my works. It's not through me. Faith in his name has healed this man whom you see and know, and made him strong. It is the faith in him which has granted his healing before you all. You can see that they had such a strong faith that just by their belief, the man was healed. And by the man's belief that he could be healed, he was healed. They didn't give him gold or silver. I have nothing. All I am is what I believe. And that's what I give to you. How powerful is that? To hold that belief so strongly that it quickens what another believes to create a healing. So we know their core was pretty strong. So we don't have to espouse what we believe. We don't have to go and convert and preach what we believe. We just have to be what our core believes and keep weeding away those things that don't serve us so that we can just be, and our core radiates and our light automatically shines. I love this. The story in the Aquarian. It's one of my favorites. Chapter 41. It's about the little girl at the healing fount. Do you guys all know that story? A flowing spring that people called the healing fount near Persepolis. All the people thought that at a certain time of year, the deity came down and gave virtue to the waters of the fountain, and the sick who would then plunge into the fountain would wash and be made whole. And about the fountain, a multitude of people were waiting for the Holy One to come and potentize the water. The blind, the lame, the deaf, the dumb, those obsessed were there. And Jesus, standing in the midst of them, exclaimed, "Behold the spring of life. The waters that will fail are honored as a special blessing of your God. From whence do healing virtues come? Why is your God so partial with his gifts? Why does he bless the spring today and tomorrow take those blessings away? Hear me, you sick, disconsolate. The virtues of this fount is not special gift from God. Faith is the healing power of every drop of all the waters of the spring. He who believes with all his heart that he will be made whole by washing in the fount will be made whole when he is washed, and he may wash at any time. Let everyone who has this faith in God and in himself plunge into these waters now and wash." And what do you think they did? They rushed into the waters. And many of the people plunged into the crystal fount, and they were healed. And so there was a rash of people all trying to get in front of one another to be the first one in there because they were afraid that it wasn't going to last. And Jesus saw a little child, weak, faint, and helpless, sitting all alone beyond the surging crowd, and there was none to help her to the fount. And Jesus said, "My little one, why do you sit and wait? Why not arise and hasten to the fount and wash and be made well?" And the child replied, "I need not haste. The blessings of my Father in the sky are measured not in tiny cups. They never fail. Their virtues are the same forevermore. When those whose faith is weak and who must haste to wash for fear their faith will fail, have all been cured, these waters will be just as powerful for me. Then I can go and stay a long, long time within the blessed waters of the spring." And Jesus said, "Behold, a master soul. She came to earth to teach to men the power of faith." And then he lifted up the child and said, "Why wait for anything? The very air we breathe is filled with the balm of life. Breathe in this balm of life in faith and be made whole." The child breathed in the balm of life in faith, and she was well. The people marveled at what they heard and saw, and knew that this must be God made flesh. And Jesus said, "The fount of life is not a little pool. It is as wide as the spaces of the heavens. The waters of the fount are love. Potency is faith, and he who plunges deep into the living springs in living faith may wash away his guilt and be made whole and free from sin." So don't you love the core of the little girl? Yes, obviously she had some issues because she was sick, but she was holding on to the faith and belief that she was going to be healed, and knew that and trusted in that process. She knew it. So then Jesus could take that knowing, well, if you believe that, well, remember, God is omnipresent. God is just not in the water. We believe God is omnipresent, then breathe in God's love and be healed. Not a far fetch from having that strong core belief to move it from this belief to a higher belief. Pretty deep, huh? Pretty deep. Do you think we could do that? How many times do we think about our core beliefs? If we believe God is all powerful, present, all knowing, how much do we count on that through our day? how much do we tap into the knowingness that we can tap into of the God within? Or are we responding to our outer situations, responding with our emotions, responding with fear and doubt? So I love the little girl. It's inspiring. It reminded me to breathe, and to breathe with intention, and to really think about what I believe about God and all things. So the more we get clear on what we believe, the easier it is to rise and lift to higher beliefs that can even strengthen our core and have our light shine stronger. And think about when you walk around how your light is impacting your world. Your very presence of what you believe is impacting your neighbor, your friends, your family. Without saying a word, your light is shining. Don't you have those people that I just want to be in your presence, and I just love being with you, you don't have to say anything. It's just, I love your light. I love your light. And the more we come together and discuss and are inspired by each other and share with each other, we help quicken those beliefs that we already know inside. When one person does something, oh yeah, I remember, I can do that too. And so it's important when you guys all come to church, we're all helping each other quicken our core. Because you guys are so bright and filled with so much light. I had, in my massage therapy practice, I hired a therapist, a young man, a few years ago, and he would come and we were doing fundraisers and stuff, so he'd be doing massage and chair massage and stuff like that. And he'd say, you know, the people in your church, can't tell how old they are. They all look so young. It's like they glow. It's like they all have this light in their eyes, and they're all just like glowing. I've never seen anything like that. And so, to let you guys know, you've all been recognized. So just remember the importance of coming together and sharing your light and strengthening your belief. And anytime you hear something, we're all here because we resonate at some belief that's common. And hopefully every time you hear it, you get to quicken it and believe it deeper and deeper. And then when you go out, your light shines greater and greater. So if we can just remember that our light is a byproduct of how deeply we believe in our beliefs. How much faith is amplifying those beliefs of light that we believe. It's just a byproduct. So if we can remember to maybe feel what it's like to be that baby in the car seat and just go along for the ride and trust, remember our basic principles of what we believe about God, we can then really start to really glow. So some things that we can do, we want to always get clear. Let's get clear on what we believe, because we still have those contradictory beliefs somewhere in our consciousness, because we're in race consciousness. So we hear it in the news, we're bombarded with a lot of beliefs that we're trying not to take on. So if you can start to examine, what do I really believe? Where did that belief come from? Is that belief still serving me? And can I let it go? And what belief can I amplify with my faith this week? So that my light can be great and powerful. and go out into the world and make a difference. Can you remember that? Your homework? Examine your beliefs. Where did they come from? Clear what doesn't serve you. What are you going to amplify this week? And just let your light shine. Okay? Does that sound easy? Can we do it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's go within. And just close your eyes. Once again, feel your feet on the floor. Feel that love of God within your heart. God and I are one. I am a beloved child of God. God provides all my needs. I'm safe in the loving heart of God. And just breathe that in. And how does that feel? And just for a moment, ask that a belief be shown to you that you might want to release. Is there any belief, maybe that you have about God or about yourself, that is affecting how you respond to life with grace and ease? And just ask that it be shown. In God, we ask that whatever is ready to be released be gently removed from our consciousness, that it be dissolved because it no longer serves us, and that it be replaced with unconditional love for self and for you. And just feel that love moving into your consciousness and deeper into your core, into the essence of who you are. The love that is the most powerful energy in the universe, moving in to quicken all the thoughts and beliefs of love that you already hold. And just feel your core as it starts to quicken and glow. And just breathe and relax into it. There's nothing else you have to do. And just feel it radiating from your heart, your mind, your body, your eyes, your crown, your feet. God and I are one. And just breathe. And God, we're so grateful for your love and your energy. And I ask a blessing on this group as they go forth this week, as they amplify their true beliefs, whatever they be. And so just take a deep breath. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. Look at the glow in this room. I see lots of shining lights, and the world is now waiting for you, people. So go forth and shine. Thank you.